are going to be watching Why the Amazon Makes Australia Look Like a Joke. And I'll have the last laugh, so let's check it out. And demonetized for animal violence.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no.
If Australia is Satan's sandbox, then the Amazon is its older brother raised by Brazil's Snake Island and tutored by the Darien Gap while babysat by the Serengeti, the land of felony deer, and ate.
Okay, I always thought that baby kangaroos lived in like this plush little blanket-filled heaven, but it's like a flesh sack of doom.
Legged Landlords is a country club compared to the largest rainforest and factory of nonsense on the planet. Because Australia is not that bad for what its reputation is.
Is that an emu? Dude, one time I used to, whenever my family and I would go out, we would go to like those safaris where you would ride in like a truck. And it wasn't an emu, it was an ostrich. So I guess this is kind of like emu racist for me to like say they look like ostriches. But we sat in the back of the truck and this ostrich started chasing us and was pecking at us in our little feet. I hate ostriches, they're so evil.
For the most part, discernment and common sense will keep you in present tense. But also the Amazon will take Australia's lunch money. This is a jungle that has swallowed cities, animated nightmares, and even Charles Darwin was naturally selected as a tribute to the forest. Allegedly. The Amazon is a living bullet hell from top to bottom.
Those are leaf cutter ants? I don't know why I said it like a fun fact.
The most dangerous animals in it, and the ones most likely to leave you full-time horizontal, will surprise you. And what better way to start than with the actual king of the jungle?
Me. Oh, cheetah. Cheeto. Wait, that's not even a cheetah. Is it? Is it a jaguar? I don't know.
The jaguar. The cat.
Oh, aguara. Wait. Aguara fresca. Mind if a white girl speak a little Espanol?
Whose name means he who kills with one leap. Fitting, because this cat is a walking one-shot and arguably one of the most unfair apex predators out there. They can swim better than any big cat ever should.
Wow.
They can also climb, and these talents they'll combine to rain absolute pain on the food chain. Jaguars are the third largest cat and the biggest you'll find in America. But
well, that's not true. You should go look at my ex-wife. That thing like an Arby's sandwich.
Pound for pound, no other cat bites harder. Thanks to a wide skull packed with masseter muscles and a shorter jaw for more crushing leverage, a motivated jaguar is said to have a bite force 7 times its own body weight, outclassing their carnivorous counterparts. The bull shark of the big cats has a bite that can break through a sea turtle's carapace,
holy crap!
Which they regularly prey on. They also flatline cayman, thanks to the jaguar's habit of going for the back of the head. It's a
okay, I'm gonna be honest, they just be doing side quests.
hell of an attitude adjustment, one that can penetrate the skull and pierce the brain and leave a cayman anything but okay. So safe to say, you'd have no chance if John Whiskers decided to make you a memory. Victims of jaguar attacks all have one thing in common, and it's that they all look like they were mauled by a claw hammer. In 2010, a 17-year-old was returning from a fishing trip when a jaguar exploded out of a ravine and jumped onto the boat, knocking both into the water before resurfacing with the teen's head in its mouth.
I don't think so.
Bystander fended the cat off with an iron pipe, and somehow the teen survived despite.
Whoa! Wait! He was ahead of the game! No shot!
Devastating head trauma, memory loss, and bone fragments from his skull nearly piercing his brain.
I'm gonna be honest, I would want the memory loss. Like, I do not want to remember any of that at all, and then I can also make up like a really cool story. Like, that story is already cool enough, but I could be like, the jaguar had an AK, like straight up jetpack, did like a kamehameha to me.
In 2008, a jaguar wandered into an open tent and mauled the 21-year-old inside to death, with his body found with fatal damage to his spinal cord. Jaguars are the Amazon equalizer, and what many people would fear most in the jungle, but the humbling part is, they could easily do way worse. Out of all the big cats, it's jaguar attacks that are the least likely, other than snow leopards, and they live on heaven's driveway. From 1950 to 2025, there have been only 84 recorded jaguar attacks on people in the Brazilian Amazon, with 13 deaths.
Okay, so they're not like top fragging. The numbers could be worse.
That we know of.
Oh.
Not only is that a little more than one attack a year, many incidents involve hunters flanked by hunting dogs. Most people that have run into a wild jaguar will tell you they're more likely to barely acknowledge you and just keep it pushing. This is an apex predator that actively avoids us. And for good reason. Considering humans nearly wiped them out and they're only just starting to come back to the United States, we're definitely what—
Wait, they're in the US? Where? Where? Wait, where? Are there jaguars? Please don't be in Florida. In the USA? Oh, they're in New Mexico and Arizona. Thank God. Thank God, that was really close.
this brolic big cat has nightmares about. And while none of that's any solace if you do get pressed by a jaguar, there's actually much worse things to encounter in the Amazon than a leopard that lifts. For example,
you're swimming. I'm so immature. That sounded like she totally ripped ass. You're swimming alone at the Amazon and you hear this strange noise. What is it? I don't know, but I definitely smell it. Oh! Oh!
You'll probably never hear a sound like that in the Amazon.
I mean, you definitely don't hear it around me either. Like, I don't fart, I don't poop, I don't pee, I don't do nothing.
But if you do, you may never hear anything ever again. Because a gang of giant river otters can absolutely cancel you. One alone can grow to 6 feet long.
Please don't cancel me. I love my job. I love my friends. I love being on twitch.tv/BerryCrepe. And I love being on YouTube.
And is tough enough to square up with a jaguar. But an army of arañas is like a high-functioning water wolf pack. These giga otters will also victimize cayman, with scientists watching a pack of piranhas eviscerate a 5-foot cayman to nothing. No bones, no skull, just a former concept in under 45 minutes.
Okay, so they just use like group tactics. Like they have like an army and then they just swarm and swarm and swarm and then you lose because you are a friendless loser.
Giant otters are built like a bad trip, with eyes that could win a staring contest with the void.
He does not have a good thought in the head. Just straight up evil.
But just like with jaguars, it's actually their cousins that do more damage.
Jogger left bloody, dazed, and crying after getting mauled by a gang of otters. No, why'd they say it like that? And that is like anti-aura!
Despite local legends of giant otters capsizing canoes and tearing the canoeists to shreds, this bug-eyed, breaststroking abomination mostly eats fish and rarely comes into contact with people. There's no case of a wild giant otter authoring a human obituary, and if one did, it would likely be defensive. But God help you if you offend otters enough for that, because this man showed what the consequences could be. Because after rescuing a child that had fallen into the otter den at a zoo, Sergeant Silvio Hollenbach was swarmed and mauled by a family of enraged otters, which ultimately killed him. But an important fact is, it was likely in defense of recently born otter pups. So just like a jaguar, this is an apex predator that's more likely to ignore you than gore you. But it's always best to respect a creature that could put a jaguar in reverse with no key, which is why you should be more afraid of the giant anteater.
Oh no. Dude, but I'm not a giant ant. Why should I be scared? And I'm not even an ant. I don't think I have any, like, what would that be, cousins? Wait, no. Nieces or nephews?
Because the same claws they use to break into termite mounds can easily tuck you in for a permanap.
Oh! Get over here!
Now when you realize termite mounds are built like concrete, then you'll realize that I lied. A 7-foot feather duster is something a jaguar has to worry about. Giant anteaters have killed jaguars, and they have a human body count too.
I think it's because they have a good hitbox. Like, they need to get nerfed.
In 2012, a 47-year-old hunter approached an anteater head-on, as if he didn't take the animal seriously. The anteater slashed his thigh and bled him to death.
Oh
2 years earlier,
God.
an anteater defended itself against another hunter.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be professional, but what the fuck is blood yapping about? Dude, we schizo post on Sundays, man. You're gonna have to wait. You missed it.
and bled him to death. 2 years earlier, an anteater defended itself against another hunter and killed him after severing his femoral artery. A homicidal panda-armed vacuum cleaner is not a joke. The first red flag is being anything that comfortable in the presence of a predator. But the reason I'd be more nervous around a termite terminator than a jaguar is the predator paradox.
Okay, I'm kind of like turning into really liking the jaguars because they always look at the camera like they're on The Office. Like, you see the shit?
Remember, with predators, you gotta earn their concern. Unless cubs are involved, otters won't bother, and jaguars are big enough to not care. But a legally blind Freddy Krueger steroid sloth will bleed you the first time you look like a threat, and they don't get safer in captivity.
Dude, I never thought that they do be in zoos. I wanted to be a zookeeper when I was a kid, and my mom told me that I wouldn't like it because apparently like the first couple of years that you're a zookeeper, all you do is pick up the poo-poo. And I didn't want to be a poo-poo scooper. So now I just clean up shit in Twitch chat, which is kind of the same thing, I guess.
In 2007, a zookeeper was gored so badly, she had to get her leg amputated in an operation that ultimately killed her. You're gonna learn that you fear the prey more than the predator, which is why it's surprising that arguably
Okay, but look at the little baby. He doesn't have hate in his heart. Look at him, he's just a little naked guy.
the jaguar's most feared prey.
Aww, he looks like a little Muppet.
It's an animal you probably wouldn't think of. You're screwed if you get pressed by Peccaries.
Oh, never trust a hog or a hag. But not me though, I'm one of the cool ones.
Not just because they have tusks that can emancipate your insides, because they roll in packs too and will defend each other. 300-pound jaguars have been driven up the trees by murder swine, and from this video you can see they'll deliver that same smoke to people. This
You guys are right. Every time I see one, I just hear, oh, Grida.
is the mammal that scares me the most in the Amazon. Because if you see one, you know many more will follow. People have found dead jaguars with stab wounds, but surrounded by hooves. That pretty much tells you how the cat went out. Not only is this not a pig likely responsible for gun laws in certain states, it's arguably the worst mammalian jump scare in the jungle. But the most dangerous is in.
But look at him right there. Like, you just want to give him a little pet, a little pat, a little scratch under the chin. Like, they just look so cute. Their little eyeballs.
Animal you may not have even considered.
He's smelling me.
Unless you live.
Does he like it? Right here.
There. Because in a study interviewing over 120 people, more than 40% had been attacked by a vampire bat.
Oh, I wanted to be a vampire so bad when I was a kid. I didn't even like Twilight. I just thought they were cool and emo.
Only 3 species regularly feed on blood, but the common vampire bat specializes in bleeding mammals. Usually that means seals and livestock, but opportunity can bring them right to humans. The first known outbreak of human rabies transmitted by bats was in 1930s Trinidad.
Oh yeah, isn't rabies scary? Like, eventually you get scared of water and you don't even want to drink it anymore, and then you just died it. And then you also like foam from the mouth. Rabies is terrifying. And the interesting thing was that whenever I was moving to Japan and I was moving my dogs, they had to go through multiple tests to make sure that they didn't have rabies, because there's no rabies in Japan, like, at all.
Where up to 90 people died. In 2005, there were 55 human rabies cases caused by bats, which was up from the 46 in 2004. Since the 1930s, it's estimated that over 1,000 people have died to vampire bat-assisted rabies.
Wow.
With the bulk being in Brazil and Peru. Now, bats already get a lot of shit, and I feel
Is that Taru? Sorry, that's so bad.
bad for even contributing to it. Just keep in mind that typically less than 1% of bats in an area may have rabies at any given time, and they're only really a problem in places with difficult access to medical attention, like the Amazon. But there's also a chance bats being more dangerous is only thanks to us.
Dude, don't they also have scary doo-doo? Like, they have, what is it, guano? Is that what it's called? They got scary poops.
Species was said to only bleed birds like guan and tinamous, but with their natural prey driven out by human activity, they started resorting to people.
Dude, that is kind of sad. Like, we be low-key a little evil. Like, we just be messing up everybody's lives.
The 2016 study finding human blood in bat samples. Mind you, before it was thought that these bats would rather starve than drink mammalian blood. Bats have an unfair reputation for what they do for the world. Without them, we wouldn't have chocolate or tequila. But
Okay, I don't like chocolate, but I would miss tequila. It makes me go, yeah,
it'd also be a lie if I said the chances you fall asleep outside and get your blood assets drained aren't zero. In their defense, the mammals of the Amazon are only responsible for a fraction of the life retirements there. Well, most of the mammals. Wink, wink. But it's the reptiles that are more infamous. And no reptile displays the insanity of the Amazon more than the cayman. I feel so bad for the cayman. It seems evolving on a winning team only led to them getting bodied.
I wish a goth girl would do that to me, though, just to be fair and honest here.
Get their wigs split by jaguars and can get mauled by otters, squeezed to a flat line by anaconda, and electrocuted by an animal that has no business having that power. When they're small, they can get attack on tightened by
Oh, my mom had a cayman, I think, and a skunk, and a tarantula. Is my mom Dr. Dolittle?
heron or ravished by rodents. And when they finally get big enough, cayman earned the ire of the most dangerous predator of all time. Cayman got dropped into hardcore server and have been getting curb stomped by the jungle census since. Except there's one cayman this doesn't really apply to.
I'm sorry, everything reminds me of her.
The black cayman can grow to 16 feet long, weigh over 1,000 pounds, and an adult would not take this crap from a jaguar.
Guys, also earlier, I do not have an ex-wife. Okay, this is a sus video and I am so sorry.
In fact, in the land of apex predators, the black cayman might be the apex predator, as many locals fear them more than any jaguar, otter, or eel. Since
Why does he move like he's on Ely's?
The apex predator, as many locals fear them more than any jaguar, otter, or eel. Since 2014, there have been 66 cayman attacks with 19 deaths, with most occurring near fishing sites. And while most of these attacks are defensive or straight up provoked by people, the scariest thing is their personalities. Cayman in areas where they've historically been hunted are shy and super people avoiding. But in other areas, people will tell
Me too, it's okay.
you that they'll attack anything that moves. And I promise you're not ready for how powerful the biggest member of the alligator family can be. Just the force of their tail can shatter your knee with a well-aimed swing. But
Maybe they're scared to interact with people because they know that they're very strong and they don't want to hurt anybody.
unlike crocodiles, cayman don't really have the reputation for becoming man-eaters, and like others, a majority of their victims are fish. And again, it's another example of humans being the real monsters. Because the black cayman was nearly poached into extinction for its hide, so bad that it led to the explosion of the capybara and piranha that were being kept in check, which ironically would only bite humanity right in the agriculture. But there's one reptile that has a reputation worse than the cayman, and
My anaconda don't want none unless you've got buns, hun.
it's...
Was I right?
This trigger warning is only because my mom's afraid of snakes, and if you're like her, go to this timestamp. Last warning, because the other side of this trigger warning is the biggest snake on the planet. Not the longest, that would be the reticulated python. But the heavyweight title goes to the green anaconda. Now, the anaconda is actually the animal victim to the most egregious size exaggerations of any animal.
Dude, just the way they like throb and pulse is kind of scary, and then you can like see them eat stuff. Like he's like, wom, 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 wom.
But most agree, a female can reach the neighborhood of 20 feet long and violate the scales at nearly 550 pounds. You probably know the anaconda life deprives with an existing ending embrace, but it's not the suffocation that does you. It's the fact that they squeeze so tight, your heart can't pump against the pressure, and any blood flow to the brain gets blocked. Not to mention backwards
whoa, that is a crazy kid. I thought they just choked you out.
facing teeth make it impossible to escape custody. An adult Amazonian anaconda is another apex predator, one that can swallow virtually anything, thanks to jaws that don't unhinge, but actually
Wait, he's like singing.
apex predator, one that can swallow virtually anything, thanks to jaws that don't unhinge, but actually stretch to accommodate, and a windpipe they can shove out of their mouths to breathe through like a meat snorkel. So Stevie Wonder could see how Titanoboa's little brother could easily void a human. But there is a catch. Human shoulders are the #1 reason most snakes aren't physically capable of swallowing a human.
Well, like, look at him. I don't think he would swallow me because look at how cute he is. He like gave me like a little boop. He's adorable. I don't know. Snakes to me are very, very cute. I just kind of want to hug him. He just seems so curious and nice.
And even if they are, it is very, very rare for one to try, let alone succeed. And even though the biggest anacondas probably could, there are 0 cases of one ever eating a person. Let me say that again. It's never happened that we know of. People have been struck by condas, but the animal that eats like 5 times a year and then spends the rest of it on power save mode definitely is doing it out of defense. Meaning if a paraplegic dragon bites you, you probably did something. I get it, but this is not the snake to be afraid of in the Amazon.
I wouldn't be.
That would be. Look, snakes have a worse PR than bats, so I don't even want to do them like that. But if you see a pit viper in a cut, pick a higher power and start a conversation. There's a lot of venomous snakes in the Amazon, and the most infamous is the common lancehead, or the furtilance. Out of all the venomous snake bites in the Amazon, the common lancehead is responsible for up to 90%. Between 2012 and 2021, the number of common lancehead bites was 202,604.
Damn!
They got a stat track on these snakes? How do they know that?
With 766 deaths, and I'm gonna link the study that said it in the description because I read it and I don't believe it. Lancehead venom isn't just toxic, it's designed to murk prey fast so the snake doesn't have to track them. The venom attacks tissues and blood cells and causes.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't spread false information today. Like, you're not supposed to suck somebody who got bit. Like, you can't suck the venom out of somebody's snake bite, right? Is that real or false? Yes? That doesn't work. And then also another lie is you're not supposed to pee on somebody who gets stung by a jellyfish too, right? Like, that's also just like fake news. That is BS. Yeah, that fact pisses me off.
Causes them to lyse and burst, instigating internal hemorrhaging while also blocking blood clotting with anticoagulants to keep you bleeding. And it happens fast. One 10-year-old girl was bit, and even with relatively quick medical attention, she still had to get her leg amputated. Another girl was struck, likely by a furtilance, and the venom turned her leg into a black stick. You can look it up if
oh my god, that stuff scares me so much. Or like, what are the spiders that I would see in Louisiana? They're like the brown recluse spiders. I think if they also bite you, you end up getting like the black arm and then they have to like amputate it or something like that too. Yeah, brown recluse spiders are scary, man.
If you want, I'm sure as hell not going to show it here, but a black stick tinted green. That is what her leg was reduced to. Now, what cost her leg was the fact that she was originally treated with traditional medicine and not brought to a clinic until a month later.
Whoa! A month? No, my mom would be like that too. Like, you're fine, walk it off. Mom, I can't walk it off!
Times with immediate medical, a majority of bite victims end up making a full recovery. And the fact that most bites end up being dry explains the low bite to death ratio.
Is this
Halo?
Halo?
When you get envenomated in an area of difficult or remote access that you're basically a walking corpse. The sad part is, snakes don't want to resort to using venom unless they think their life is in danger.
Oh, is that how you milk a snake? You just like hold up a thing and then go, "You're stupid! You're ugly! Screw you!" And they go, "Ah!"
In fact,
You just like rage bait him.
most times the snake will bite at you instead of biting you. But lanceheads often hunt rats in coffee or banana plantations, which can lead to a double.
One time I was told to start sucking. I misunderstood what they meant. Still got 20 bucks.
I hate you guys.
Instead of biting you. But lanceheads often hunt rats in coffee or banana plantations, which can lead to a double-edged jump scare for them and the farm workers. So
Especially when some of the farmers can't afford the proper boots to protect themselves. Oh, that's sad.
while everyone's scared of Satan's weighted jump rope, it's a snake you don't see.
What is this picture? Okay, I'm just so confused on what's going on here. Like, why are we gripping it like that?
That should scare you. Also, honorable mention to the Bushmaster. With a name like that, you are not to be played with. You got it. But it's not just the venomous occupants that'll fold you. The poisonous ones will get you too. And the Amazon has the
Okay, so venom means they bite you and you go, But poison is if you eat it and you go, Right? Sorry, that was like my Minecraft impression.
I just wanted to use it.
most poisonous animal on the planet. And the fact that it's a tiny skittle of a frog is
Oh no! Weather report has frog!
Why do normal people hold these things? I don't know. There's a lot of normal people here in chat, right? Like, you wouldn't hold a snake like that.
the second biggest you of the forest. The same caustic.
Whoa! Did he just say on YouTube? We can do that? You! Your dog! Your mom! You!
Hermit that could sleep comfortably in a quarter has enough toxins to one-shot 20 people, 20,000 mice, and 2 bull African elephants.
Oh my
there are no
God.
elephants in the Amazon. This thing's built like a biblical.
Is this why women live longer than men?
Punishment. The poison dart frog got its name from indigenous hunters rubbing their arrow tips on the frog's back. If you were to get injected, at best the batrachotoxin would cause numbness and nausea. At a higher concentration, the poison that runs interference between nerves would cause paralysis, convulsions, and even seizures. Any higher and the paralysis of the diaphragm and heart failure would cause suffocation, cardiac arrest, and death. To add insult to permanent inactivity, it's not even their poison they're packing. That is a stolen bag. The amphibian poison pill gets it from the beetles they eat and open carries the chemicals. To my knowledge, a poison frog hasn't directly packed.
So, like, if I eat the beetles, do I get to, I guess have poison? Maybe? What's that guy's name? Ringo? Sorry.
Of a person, but recently Russian opposition Alexei Navalny was lethally poisoned by, poison.
Russian killed opposition leader using dart frog toxin. What?
Frog poison. So on the list of animals to fear in the Amazon, rancid rabbits are pretty low. Mostly because their dress code is a literal red flag, along with green, gold.
Oh my god, they're the entire rainbow and the guy on the left looks like Spider-Man.
Than all the others. Getting in the water is different because you'd likely never see it coming. So what is the scariest fish in the Amazon? Because there are a lot of options.
Barracuda. Gar. Is piranha?
The arapaima is a several hundred-pound armor-plated.
Oh! Dude, I'm gonna be honest, all of my fishing knowledge is from Animal Crossing.
Jurassic guppy that can easily turn your lights on. Bull sharks are considered the most aggressive shark species and the closest to the stereotype, and they've been known to venture up the Amazon. And while they're not as
yeah, this is like river monsters. By the way, I tell this fun fact every single time we watch one of these videos, but river monsters is over with because he caught every river monster. Like, he just maxed out, and now he has nothing else to do.
Hinged as their reputation is, and attacks in rivers are super rare, murky river water is the best place to become a shark statistic. And the pacu has human teeth and has
Ew, I hate when animals have human teeth. Disgusting.
been nicknamed the ball cutter.
If somebody in chat said would, take it back right now.
No further comment. But the most infamous fish in the Amazon is the candiru, and they're the reason people.
Okay, are these the ones that go up your pee hole? I remember I was watching 90 Day Fiancé and this guy went to go swimming with his fiancé who lived in another country, and then he put on a condom to go swimming because he didn't want the fish going up his pee hole.
People say you should never pee in the waters. Because according to legend, the parasitic pin needle will follow the urine up your urethra where they get lodged up there with their backwards facing spines.
Calmest reaction.
Think of the anaconda's jaws, but clamped inside the most sensitive part of your body, and allegedly, only invasive surgery can remove it. But in all of humanity's history, there has been only one recorded case of such a fate.
In 1997? That's when I was born.
Is that why I've never peed in my life?
With one man in 1997 claiming that a candiru jumped out of the water, swam up his pee stream, and into him. Yes.
Holy crap! He was doing backflips to get all up in that hole! Oh my god! Acrobatic ass fish!
Science has proven that not only is that physically impossible, like fluid physics, it has also been proven that candiru aren't even attracted to human urine. The piranha.
Oh, okay. Maybe they're attracted to, like, I don't know, elephant pee-pee? I don't know. Do you guys think they actually go up pee holes? -1 nightmare? No? Dude, can you imagine somebody spread a rumor about you that you just like going up people's pee holes? Like, that is diabolical. Like, his entire reputation is now piss.
Is another fish with bad PR, but we now know that they're mostly shy scavengers that also eat plants. You could sit in a pool of feeding piranhas and
The way he's sitting. Holy horriform.
like a toddler's vegetables, likely go
Among
untouched.
Us.
Now, attacks do happen, and headlines can be something out of a horror movie, but they're rare and usually only in
That
times
was
of
him.
extreme environmental stress and
Dude. Yeah, but look, he's the river monster this time.
They just don't know it.
Piranhas, and like a toddler's vegetables, likely go untouched. Now, attacks do happen, and headlines can be something out of a horror movie, but they're rare, and usually only in times of extreme environmental stress and shallow water. Also, the whole piranha flesh stripping a cow thing was actually a psyop staged by locals to impress President Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, they lied on the internet?
Damn it.
You're much more likely to accidentally eat a piranha than the other way around, and even the popular's ball-biting reputation has been greatly exaggerated. So what's the scariest
They're bigger than I thought.
fish in the Amazon? It's definitely the one that's less eel than fish.
Okay, but he's really cute. He's really cute.
The electric eel is actually a knife fish related to a catfish, but it's closer to an aquatic taser. The fact that there's a fish that's just up and weaponized electricity and we just all accept that as a fact of life is the third biggest middle finger the Amazon has to offer. And at 8 feet up to 40 pounds, this imitation eel has killed people.
Is there any fish who's never killed anybody? Do you think a goldfish has ever killed somebody? Okay, well, I don't know if this counts, but it says in France, a man was suspected of murdering his neighbor in a dispute over a goldfish.
But it's not the electricity you worry about. It's getting knocked out in water and drowning knee deep. It's also the fact they can jump out of the water to tase you, which a scientist discovered by accident when he tried transferring one
He's just rubbing all off on him.
into a new aquarium and nearly got fried in the process. Not to mention 8 feet of not an eel can have all their vital organs packed into 20% of their body. The remaining 80 is reserved for electric organs. This is one of those things you blindly accept as a kid, only to severely question the existence of as an adult.
Yeah.
So we went through mammals, reptiles, fish, and amphibians that only
What's left? Oh no. Is this just gonna be sad? It's either gonna be insects like mosquitoes because they be like biting people all the time and like spreading diseases and stuff, and for some reason they love me every single time I walk outside, mosquitoes just go crazy on my ass. Or this could just be sad and be about people and be about how we just be like killing everything for fun all the time.
leaves the most dangerous group of all. Kinda. Because spiders aren't insects, but damn it, they're going in this section. Oh, yeah, spider warning. Sorry. Goliath bird-eating spiders are the largest tarantulas in the world. The funny thing is, they rarely prey on birds, but the naming guy made damn sure you don't forget they can. They mostly go for rats, frogs, lizards, sometimes snakes, and they do this by paralyzing prey with...
Wait, is that not a meme video I remember?
They mostly go for rats, frogs, lizards, sometimes...
Why do I remember this video having a really funny commentary on top of it that had nothing to do with like actually what was happening? Do you guys remember this? I remember it having funny commentary. Yeah, the voice actor. There's something about this that was goofy.
Snakes, and they do this by paralyzing prey with venom and then liquefying their insides with enzymes to turn the prey into soup. But as that one weird spider apologist that refused to kill them as a kid, I gotta say that tarantulas are virtually harmless, with venom no worse than a wasp sting, and they've never killed a human. The most dangerous thing about them is that they're...
I think that's right. Wait, what did he say? Radar. The howling field mouse.
Yes, I think you're right.
Let me see.
She's a wolf in mouse clothing. The mouse's ghostly howl stakes claim to
hairs into your face as defense, and those
Laser him!
Those hairs are absolute hell if they get in your eyes. And as intimidating as a Goliath might be, they're like a soft-shelled lobster to a coati. And people too, because the tarantula is considered a...
I have never eaten a tarantula. There's just something about it, like I don't want hairy bulbuses in my mouth. And also, I don't want the squish.
delicacy. Now this spider is a different ballgame. The Brazilian wandering spider is responsible for thousands of bites a year, with an estimated 40,000 occurring annually in its namesake country. Like the tarantula, they're also afraid of people and lash out defensively.
Scared of people, put them in a room with 20 mother suckers? No, that's just rude.
The problem is, they also hide in dark crevices, which leads to a mutual jump scare from people. They have an especially bad habit of finding themselves inside shipments of bananas.
Oh my God, somebody in the comment section down below or even in Twitch chat, If you work at a grocery store, do you guys have to inspect the bananas for spiders? Or do they come already clean of spiders? I have always been scared of that. Yes, you do have to check?
Wait, really? Really? You have to check them? Oh, hell nah! Oh, hell nah!
There was one time a store in Austria was shut down for several days after one spawned out of a banana crate like a jack-in-the-box.
Banana crate? That's me, hi.
That's my cousin.
Weird response because the Brazilian Antichrist venom has a lot of effects, paralysis, trouble breathing, but the most infamous side effect is that envenomation can cause a painful, several-hour case of priapism. Now,
Several hours? What's priapism? Prolonged awful.
What? Prolonged, often painful erection that lasts for hours or longer? Always check the bananas so they don't get your banana.
What the hell?
now Google priapism and you'll understand why this is the number.
That is what I did. How did he know?
Number one middle finger of the rainforest, one that can end your baby making career permanently. But even with thousands of recorded bites a year, there have been less than 20 deaths recorded since the 1900s. Mostly because, again, animals don't love to waste venom, and most bites are dry, and even if they aren't, with anti-venom, you're almost—
Why are we rage baiting him, man?
Harry Sachs! Thank you so much for 2 months! Boner Spider, thank you!
And Nate, thank you for the 100 bits. Priapism comes from Priapus, a minor Greek fertility god characterized by his grotesque appearance and eternally erect phallus.
Okay, do you mean minor as in he doesn't get a lot of screen time or he is a child?
guaranteed to be fine. That being said, you better have anti-venom. I love Die Hard, not enough to live it. That being said, I'd take a spider over a centipede. The Amazonian variety is the largest on the planet, and they punch way above their weight class, with a prey list that can include birds, bats, and rats. Centipedes
Birds, bats, rats!
like this can submit prey 15 times their size with paralyzing neurotoxic venom. And it is no exaggeration, one of the most painful bites a human being can experience. It probably—
Did that guy who wears that cowboy hat get this mother sucker to bite him? What's his name? Coyote Peterson?
probably won't kill you, and that's not as a favor to you.
Yes. Yeah, I assume so. Yeah.
There's at least one case of a centipede subtracting a person, and it was when a Venezuelan child opened a soda can and was mortally wounded by the crawly hidden inside. That does raise one hell of a question.
Oh my god, dude, never trust a soda can. My mom always told me to never drink out of a soda can because what happens at the factory is that all of the rats walk on top of it and just straight up poo-poo caca all over them. I don't think that's entirely true, but I still drink out of soda cans. Not because I like poop, but like I don't know.
Rather take a bite from a centipede or stings from bullet ants. How it got its name is pretty straightforward, but its indigenous name translates to the one who wounds deeply.
Yeah, my ex-wife, she's back again. Talked about her a lot this video. Screw you, Samantha.
As well as 24-hour ant, because you're scheduled for 24 hours of agony and untold suffering once you get bit. Entomologist Justin Schmidt has described a sting as less like a gunshot and more like walking over flaming charcoal with 3-inch nails stuck up your foot.
Nah, he's full of Schmidt.
Ants are even used as a rite of passage for the Setere Mawe people, with those initiated having to wear a glove of these piss ants for some time, all while being lit up by the insects. It's a process that can cause temporary paralysis and hallucinations.
Oh, hell
The process is
no!
done not once, but up to 20 times. It's a different level of pain, but one that's not lethal, as bullet ants have never killed a person. Yeah. So as unpleasant as a run-in with a wandering spider, centipede, or ant army would be, those aren't the bites you fear the most. This is.
What is that? I'm gonna guess fart beetle? Assassin bug? Wait, you guys have met this guy? You know him?
Because the kissing bug is statistically
Oh, kissing bug! Ew, I'm gonna get cooties!
one of the deadliest animals in the Amazon, with a worldwide kill rate of over 10,000.
Damn!
With over 7 million people infected. And it's because the assassin bugs can spread a parasite that delivers Chagas disease, a parasite they spread through their poop.
Nah. Kill me any other way. I'm not dying to poop. That's bullshit. Bug shit even.
Once you accidentally rub the infected feces into a bite wound, you've been got, and you often don't realize it until you wake up looking like you lost an argument to Mike Tyson. It's an
Nah, he wrong for that.
uncomfortable, unsightly disease, one that erases tens of thousands of lives in the Amazon, including, allegedly, Charles Darwin.
He died to poop.
It's highly suspected that the long-time 40-year illness and eventual demise of the father of evolution
Yeah,
was caused
ironic.
by a one-time run-in with a kissing bug and the development of Chagas that came after. By the numbers, that makes this bug one of the deadliest creatures in the jungle. But not number one. That spot goes to the deadliest animal of all time. The animal you should fear the most isn't a jaguar, anaconda, cayman, or even unethical Viagra.
Unethical Viagra? And he was teabagging that poor little bug.
It's the mosquito. The mosquito has
I
buried-
told you!
Screw you!
And I don't care if it destroys the entire planet. I hope you never come back. I hope you die forever.
more people than every single war in human history combined. And it's no different in Earth's biggest jungle, as Anopheles darlingi has killed untold numbers of people, as largely the biggest vector of malaria, along with other maladies like dengue, yellow fever, and even Zika. I consider them so dangerous because there's no confusion if a jaguar or viper bites you.
Yeah.
Mosquito bites can easily go under the radar until you
Yeah, ask me about that.
wake up to the Grim Reaper on your nightstand. And the worst part is, mosquitoes could easily be way worse.
Yeah.
One, because only females suck blood, but also because out of the thousands of species, mainly 3 are responsible for census cuts on humanity. One adjustment by them and they could possibly wipe us out, but again, it might be our own fault they're so
Please don't buff
dangerous,
them.
as
Please don't buff
deforestation
them.
has boosted the number of bites, and those same deforested areas can have
Dude, when I was living in Louisiana, I had a pool full of water and I ended up playing Mario under the water on stream. This was the dumbest idea I've ever done. And I left the pool full of water out. And eventually a bunch of frogs moved in and they ended up like having an army of them in my backyard, like at least 100 of them. Then after that, that's when the mosquitoes came.
There were so many mosquitoes. Millions.
biting rates 278 times the normal. And that's why it's humans that are tied for the most dangerous animal in the Amazon. It's been said that deforestation has killed 500,000 people in the last 20 years, with nearly 30,000 a year attributed to heat stress. But human-caused deaths can be even more direct, as over 1,700 activists have been murdered in the Amazon between 2012 and 2021, while trying to prevent activity like mining, oil drilling, and logging. That's more than the deaths due to jaguars, anacondas, cayman, venomous snakes, and spiders combined. So no, I'm not just being edgy when I say one of the most life-threatening things you can run into in the world's most dangerous jungle is another
VTubers.
human. And most of those mercs were indigenous activists fighting for their land. Now keep in mind, it was also humans that nearly drove the cayman out of commission, a panther into past tense, and many, many more. As for the Amazon, it is as dangerous as it is beautiful, and the animals in it are really only doing what they can to survive, and both are worthy of our respect and fear. Because the most terrifying thing about them is the reality of a world where they're not here.
Aww.
I don't want to see this.
This is Artival Duarte, aka the Snake Ninja, a Brazilian activist and conservativist. I swear to God, I can read. Conservationist, famous for putting poisonous, venomous animals in his mouth to raise awareness and protest against Amazon deforestation and river pollution. Imagine he films this part, then he turns it off and goes, oh.
Yummers.
This frog is like, get me the hell out of here. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. If you're new here, please come by the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/BerryCrepe,
Or use code Berry for 10% off your gamer subs order. It super helps me out.
and I would love to get a booba cup one day, so I super appreciate it. Have a great evening. Goodbye, you!